Tell me, do you bleed?
You will.
Where is Evan? He said he was going to be here like 45 minutes ago.
Hey, dude! Sorry I'm late. I was at the dentist.
You were playing Fortnite again, weren't you?
How did you know? You can't blame me, though. That game was super lit. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe for you. Not for me. Anyway, hey guys! Welcome back to Movie Night with Andrew and Evan. And tonight we are reviewing Justice League!
Oh, yeah!
The latest installment of the DCEU. Boy, this is expensive. Alright guys, so let's start this review. According to my notes here, it was directed by Zack Snyder initially, but after a personal drama, he had to drop out and was replaced by Joss Whedon, who directed both The Avengers and Avengers Age of Ultron. It was released last year in 2017, and it stars Ben Affleck as Batman, Henry Cavill as Superman, Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, Ezra Miller as The Flash, Jason Momoa as Aquaman, and Ray Fisher as the Cyborg. It is rated PG-13 for violence, action, and some language.
Oh, snap!
So, in my opinion, one of the high points of this film is the casting. I thought that they did a great job casting Henry Cavill. As I said when I reviewed Man of Steel a year ago, Henry Cavill is a great Superman.
Yeah.
I believe that he's the best Superman yet, despite being darker than some previous movie versions of Superman. Excuse me. I also like Ben Affleck. I don't think he's as good as Christian Bale from the Dark Knight trilogy, but I still think he's pretty good. Gal Gadot does great as Wonder Woman, and I think all the others fit their roles really well.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
that the casting is definitely one of the best points of this movie. I also really like that they brought Superman back, because that was, I was rather shocked in Batman vs. Superman when he ended up dying, and I was like, he's only been in 2 movies.
I know, right? That's exactly what I said.
And I mean, come on, he's the best member of the Justice League. He is the best.
Maybe.
Yeah. I like that it also has a lighter tone and more comedy than most DC films. They're usually pretty dark, and I also think that making it lighter was an overall better point. I also like that that you also have all the action from that was a high point in the previous DC films. I like that you still got all your great action, all your great fights, all that.
Yeah.
So it's still a good action movie.
That's what I'm talking about, baby!
And in terms of the characters, I really like Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, and Aquaman. I thought Aquaman was pretty funny.
What about the Flash?
Flash was okay. He was good. He wasn't one of my favorites. Yeah.
He was lit!
Literally, he was lit.
I like the Flash a lot in this movie.
Well, I mean, to me, and that leads into my negative points, is that one of the biggest drawbacks to me for this movie is that I did feel a lot of similarities to Marvel. I thought that they had some similarities to Marvel. The Flash, the reason why I don't necessarily care for the Flash is that he seems like, as a character, Barry Allen, the character of Barry Allen seems very similar to Peter Parker for me. And his superpower is very similar to Quicksilver.
Yeah, but that's
not
not
he does
really
have lightning bolts. Yeah, and I wonder which one came first.
I think the Flash came before Quicksilver. I think in the comics.
So Marvel copied DC.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, yeah. Well, Speedster, like super speed, isn't really something that they invented. So I get why 2 characters have super speed.
And Steppenwolf. Steppenwolf, I'll be honest with you, is a cool guy. He is a very action-packed, tall, scary guy. There's his Funko Pop. Yep.
He looks like my dad when he's having a bad hair day.
But, wow, your dad looks really ugly when he has a bad hair day. No offense. But while Steppenwolf was cool, and he was definitely a great source of action for the movie, I felt that as a character, a lot of critics felt that as the character, Steppenwolf was underdeveloped, and I will agree with that. I believe that he was not very well developed. And I also felt, again, there was a bit of not copying, but it was very similar, to Thanos from the Marvel movies.
I think so, because, like, the plot is kind of similar. Like Thanos, he needs to find the Infinity Stones. He needs to find the Mother Boxes. So,
and then when they join together, he will have unlimited power!
Yeah, now that you mention it, it does seem like Steppenwolf has a lot of similarities to the Mad Titan Thanos.
And not only that, but I also felt that, for those of you who have seen The Hobbit, I felt that he was similar to the character of Azog from The Hobbit, the giant pale orc. And because I felt that he was another one of those very bad villains, very powerful generals who...
Azog. Who was that again?
The big pale orc in The Hobbit.
Doesn't ring any bells.
Have you even seen The Hobbit?
I think so.
There we go. But anyway, I also thought that Flash and Cyborg, as I already talked about Flash, but Cyborg just didn't do it for me, for some reason. I thought he was okay, and I thought he did have some cool moments. I really liked the bit where he and Superman, after they've just separated the mother boxes, it was real funny when he says,
Man, my toes hurt. I don't even understand the physics of how my toes hurt.
That was funny right there.
That was a funny bit right there.
I like Cyborg. I mean, I think he was a little bit underdeveloped. I think he was underused. But I really like the performance of Ray Fisher. I think he did a great job as Cyborg.
I think and that's what I said, the cast is good. I think sometimes it's more of the script than the cast.
Yeah.
And Aquaman, one more thing I wanted to mention about Aquaman, he is a funny guy, and he does have a lot of action sequences.
All right.
But I felt that we didn't have enough of him in the water. I mean, we have some. We have some where he's trying to stop Steppenwolf from getting the mother box in the sea. But other than that, he doesn't really have a lot of action in the ocean.
And you know why?
Why?
Because they're saving it for Aquaman. Coming out later this year.
I didn't even know that there was
December.
Aquaman. Alright, well, DC's gonna fix that little issue.
Yeah, I actually think Aquaman is gonna be a good movie. I liked Aquaman in this movie. He was like, oh yeah, I'm Aquaman.
Yeah, my man.
My man.
He was pretty funny. He was the best comic relief character in the whole thing. But overall, I think the combination of a decent plot, I thought the plot wasn't as good as maybe Man of Steel or the Dark Knight movies, but I thought it was decent enough. I think the good combination of plot, good action, great casting, overall makes it a good overall movie, and I recommend it.
Now it's time to see what I think about this movie. Sure. Now, first of all, I'm going to say, most of the things I'm going to say are positive because I really, really, really like this movie.
All
It's
right.
a great superhero movie. There's a few complaints I have. I'll go ahead and start off with the complaints. One complaint is the CGI. I thought the CGI was good, but I think a few scenes you could tell it was a green screen, in my opinion. Henry Cavill had a mustache during this movie because he couldn't shave the mustache because he was also filming Mission Impossible Fallout during this time. So Mission Impossible wouldn't let him shave the mustache, so in Justice League they had to CGI it out. They had
Really?
to get rid of the mustache digitally, yeah.
I did not notice that. I know that after you learn it, you probably do pick it up as you do say that. Sometimes when you hear about it, then you know to see it. I didn't even notice it, but I will mention about Superman is that in this movie his hairstyle was different. And I mean this sounds like very generic complaining, but his hairstyle wasn't as good for me as it was in Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman. They changed his hairstyle somehow, and I don't like it as much.
Are you roasting his hairline?
I guess I am.
Roasted! Roasted! So yeah, the thing about the mustache, they had to digitally get rid of it. I felt like sometimes his mouth looked a little bit cringy and fake. So that was one of my complaints.
But I really liked the bit, and keep your thoughts. But I also liked the bit, the whole sequence where they bring him back. That was one of the best sequences of the movie. That and the climax at the end were, I think, the best parts of the movie. I really liked the bit where they brought Superman back. That was a good action.
Yes, it was.
sequence.
And I like when Superman came back. There's something that happens. We're not going to spoil it. But when Superman comes back, it leads to a really cool scene. Another complaint I had was it's a little bit choppy at times. I felt like near the beginning, the pacing was off. I felt like it was a little skippy. I felt like that got better later on in the movie, but
I didn't really feel that.
I felt like it was choppy, and I feel like it was because of the two directors. I felt Zach came in, and then when he left, Joss came in and had to redo a lot of the scenes. I felt like that's why it was choppy. Another thing that I don't know if you feel about this, but I feel like it was a little too short for me.
It was right at 2 hours, and I think
I think it could have been extended to 2.5 hours, 2 hours, 15 minutes.
And you know what? They might actually come out with an extended edition in the future.
I would totally buy that. I would be in for that.
I would probably recommend that too. I think they kept the running time at a good length though.
Oh. So let's go ahead and see the good things that I liked about this movie. I liked the characters. I liked all the characters. I liked the Flash, Cyborg, Aquaman. All of the characters in this movie were great. Batman. Ben Affleck is my favorite Batman of all time. He is the coolest. I think he's the closest to the comics as well. I love all the gadgets. I love the Batmobile. Batman was a standout in this movie for me.
That's another line that I like from the movie, is that when he recruits the Flash and the Flash says,
"What are your superpowers again?" "I'm rich."
That alone is a superpower.
Being rich in the world today makes you a superhero.
Yep.
Alright, some other things I want to say is this movie was just flat out entertaining. The whole movie kept you on the edge of your seat. I never got bored a minute in this movie. I thought it was shot great. The action was great. For the most part, like I said, it was a little choppy. The pacing was good when it got on.
I think that
the movie.
During some of the breaks in the action, there was a little bit, and I understand where you're going in the beginning, is that they do a lot of storylines at the very beginning, and that can be a little bit confusing at first.
Yeah.
And the breaks between the action can be a little bit slow for me, but at least the action is very
crazy.
Yes.
So another thing I like the acting. I think this movie's fun. It's a fun movie if you're just waiting for a Saturday night action movie.
Mm-hmm.
This is a good one. Had lots of action. I actually really liked Steppenwolf. I know you said he was kind of underdeveloped. He was, in a sense, but I really liked him. He was a worthy opponent to the League.
I do agree with you on that, but and I mean, he is a good villain. I think my favorite DCEU villain is so far General Zod.
Same.
I really like General Zod, and if you count the Dark Knight trilogy, Heath Ledger's Joker, excellent. And I also like Liam Neeson, Ra's al Ghul. But in terms of the DCEU, not quite as good as General Zod, but still good. At least he was better than Lex Luthor.
Ooh, roasted!
Roasted again!
Okay, the last thing I want to say about this movie is another thing I loved about this. One thing that was a complaint about Black Panther I really liked about this movie. I like the tie-ins. Black Panther didn't have enough tie-ins. This movie tied in a lot to the DCEU. I love that.
Because it is the whole League.
I like it because, like, of course, in Batman vs. Superman, they set up the Justice League. They showed a little clips of Aquaman. Wonder Woman was in there. And they had the Wonder Woman movie. All the movies before Justice League tied into Justice League.
Now, I might disagree with you on there, because I felt like if they're gonna... Because this is what I thought Marvel did really well with Phase 1 of the MCU. They introduced every superhero in his own movie. Iron Man, Hulk...
Except for Hawkeye.
Yeah, well,
and Black Widow.
I think Black Widow was introduced in Iron Man 2.
Yeah, she didn't have her own movie.
True.
Yeah.
But I think that they introduced everybody really well, and they just had a few that they had to introduce for the Avengers. And they developed each character beforehand really well. I don't think DC has pulled that off. I think they're trying to compete with Marvel.
They are.
And so they're starting to really try to get as quickly as they can get everybody together. So you have a Superman movie, a Wonder Woman movie.
Batman vs. Superman.
Batman vs. Superman. We didn't really get the origins of Batman. We do a little bit in Batman vs. Superman. I think it was just good enough, but I would have liked to have this Batman have his own movie. And I understand that there is a Flash TV series. Does it really star Ezra Miller as the Flash?
No. Ezra Miller's not the Flash. The TV show is completely separate than the DCEU.
Well, I mean, there you go. So we don't get the origins of Aquaman, Aquaman's going to have a movie in the future.
If you watch the Flash TV show, though, it's very much the same as the movie. So,
alright then. So,
like the fact that his father's in jail, that's the exact same plot in the TV show.
It's probably from the comics. So.
It is.
But I felt, and then the Cyborg, they got a little bit into his backstory, but I felt like you really, to develop the characters, you have to have each one get his own origins movie. Mm-hmm. Boy, you just ate that paper.
I did?
Yes, you did.
Awkward.
So, overall, my rating of Justice League out of 10 is a solid 8, which is almost as good as Man of Steel. I would give Man of Steel a 9 out of 10. I'd give The Dark Knight a 9 out of 10. I probably could put this one as my number 4 favorite DC movie behind those two and Batman Begins.
Alright, you ready to hear my rating? You ready for my rating?
I am.
My rating. Let's get a drum roll. My rating is 8 out of 10.
We agree again!
Yeah, 8 out of 10. This movie, to me, it almost leaned towards a 9. I almost gave this movie a 9, but I think some of the things about it kind of drag. So I'll give it an 8. Yeah, we both give this movie 8 out of 10.
We agreed again.
I would recommend this. If you're a DC fan,
Definitely.
do not skip out on this one. This is a really fan-pleasing movie. So if you're a DC fan,
definitely be so.
see it right now.
Yeah, and I would also say that if you're just an action movie fan, also.
And superhero
You
movie
see.
fan.
Yeah,
See this.
definitely. This is a highly recommended. I can't believe we agreed again. This is like 3 movie reviews, and we've yet to disagree. We always give the same rating every single review.
I cannot believe it.
I'm waiting to disagree. Eventually, we will disagree. So stay tuned.
Alright,
Alright, so now let's look up the Rotten Tomatoes score.
and let's see if we agree with it or not. So, the Rotten Tomatoes score, of course, 100 being the best, of Justice League is 40%,
Oh
which
my
is considered rotten.
Another rotten movie.
I cannot believe that.
40%. My gosh.
Oh my gosh. So, do you agree with this? Should this movie deserve 40%?
Heck no, I'd give it 80%.
I would give it an 80 or 90%. It does not deserve 40, especially because Wonder Woman has 92.
I know, Wonder Woman has 92, and I think this movie was better than Wonder Woman.
Definitely.
Now Wonder Woman's not bad. I'd probably make it my number 5 favorite DC movie, but I have to see it again to really get a good idea. But Justice League, in my opinion, I think is better than Wonder Woman.
The critics, man, they keep
Critics are too critical.
they're harsh.
They are harsh.
I guess that is their job to be critical, but
Yeah, I think sometimes they think, I almost thought about this idea, is that, and I get this too, I'll watch a movie, and if it's like really good, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to find something as a detractor for this movie, so they take all the little things, add them all together, and that takes like 10 or 20% off of their score. When overall the movie was pretty good.
yeah, I thought it was a great movie. Definitely go see it.
Definitely go see it, and we definitely recommend it. So thank you for watching this review. If you haven't already, subscribe to our new channel for more videos. Leave a like, drop a comment, and we will see you next time. Bye!
Have a good one.